Howdy everyone, Warstarcy here, and today we're going to be looking at Nova Drift on Steam. Before we begin the review, I'd like to leave a disclaimer that this game, of course, is still in early access, and thus things may change in the future and new content is still being made for the game. But despite that fact, there's still enough in the game to rival that of a final release game. And one last thing before we start, I'd also like to thank Pixeljam for offering me the review key. There will be a link in the description to the Steam page where you can check out and purchase the game yourself if you'd like. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So right upon starting it up, my first thought was, wow, this looks amazing, I can't wait to get started. And you know what? I wasn't disappointed. Nova Drift is a roguelite space shooter where you build your ship up with upgrades as you defeat enemies and clear waves. It's basically Asteroids, but an RPG with way more content. I mean, seriously, this game right now boasts over 120 modular upgrades. I'm actually impressed with the amount of selections you have for upgrades. When you level up, you get a selection of upgrades that you can pick one of, and if you don't like any of them, you can simply hit R to re-roll your selection. There's lots to choose from ones that simply upgrade your ship's capacity to ones that slightly sacrifice the capabilities of one aspect, such as fire rate, to overhaul another aspect, like damage and velocity. Basically, you get to pick your playstyle that best suits you. There are plenty of enemies as well that will appear as you progress through waves, starting off with small, simple, basic ones, and progressively getting bigger and more complex. And remember, it's only in its early access phase, so there's going to be even more content coming in the future. Heck, there's even a roadmap for the game. And before you freak out, don't worry, it's not one of those awful Ubisoft or EA styled roadmaps filled with promises of DLC. It's simply what a proper roadmap should be, telling you what's coming along the way to the full release between December and January and even beyond. So now that you know there's plenty of content in game as well as more to come, let's talk about how the game controls. Very easy, that's how. Seriously, you can master the controls in the first few seconds. For keyboard, you use your thrusters with A, steer with left and right arrow, and shoot with S, just like that. This game also has controller support, so that's a plus, but honestly, it's simple enough that unless you just prefer controllers, you shouldn't need one. Either way, you have options, which is always nice. The only thing that initially bothered me was that at first it felt like the ship turned kinda slow, almost like tank controls, but as I got further into the game, I seemed to stop noticing that, so maybe it was just me or upgrades made it turn faster, I'm not sure which one. So basically summarizing this all up, you've got a game that's easy to learn to play without taking away any of the challenge. You've got plenty of content with even more planned for the future, and you have what I honestly say would be Asteroids if it were made today. There's a lot of replayability, not only in trying to achieve a high score or beat your own one, but leveling up and unlocking more upgrades as well. Plus, they plan to add a campaign to the game as well in the future, along with a whole bunch of other bosses and game modes, so that'll be more to dive into, but let's save that for the future. Heck, when the game's finished later this year, or the beginning of next year, I might even do a re-review of this and see how far it's come since. But for now, I can just say that for an early access title, this seems to be doing pretty well, and considering it's sitting at very positive for all reviews, it seems the community agrees as well. I honestly hope it continues to succeed as more content releases, but anyway, that's pretty much it for this review. Again, if you want to purchase this game for yourself, you can click the link in the description below that will take you right to the Steam page where it's available for $15 at the time of this video. This is Warstarcy on the Game Clips channel, and I'm out.